Okay. Shivu Varanga Gandharva Govinda Gringanaisa Vande Prashadatoyisham Sarvaramba Shubhankara. So we're continuing with Prapanna-jivanamrtam, and we are in the second chapter, Sri Shashtavachanamritam, the nectar of scriptural word. And now there's a citation from the Brihanaradiya Purana. Tanishtasya nadogati, a surrendered soul never falls down. Paramartam asheshasya jagatam adhikaranam sharanyam sharanam yato govindam navasidati. Sri Govinda is the origin of all the universes, the supreme truth and the shelter of all. One who surrenders unto his lotus feet can never be cast asunder. Dukkha haratvam mano haratvam cha. Surrender unto the Supreme Lord Hari vanquishes misery and charms the Lord and charms the heart with the Lord's divine sweetness. This line here, this is Param Guru Maharaj's original line, of course, and very, very beautiful. And it's a very good example of how you lose a lot in translation, because the Sanskrit is very sweet and concise, but just doesn't render into English. So this word haratvam, right? This is the same, the word hari, right, or hara. It's the same root, and it means to steal or to remove. So Krishna, he's known as a thief. He steals our hearts. He steals everything. He steals butter and so on and so forth. So here, this line is wonderful, saying dukkha. Dukkha means sadness, misery, suffering. So it's saying dukkha haratvam. He removes your misery, and then mano haratvam. Man means mind, right? So he steals your mind. Means he charms you. He captures your heart. So he removes your suffering, and he also gives you all joy, in other words, by stealing your heart, by making you mad for him. So, this is the characteristic of Sharanagati. So here it is rendered, surrender unto the Supreme Lord Hari, vanquishes misery, and charms the heart with the Lord's divine sweetness. And now a quotation from the Mahabharata. And I think this is spoken to Yudhishthira Maharaj, maybe by Narada or somebody like that. O king, what more can I say? The foremost of the Yadu dynasty, the unassailable great personality who is full of goodwill for you and always your dear friend. He is none other than the Supreme Lord, Narayan, Sri Hari. Those who devotedly take full refuge in him cross over this insurmountable ocean of material existence. And how fortunate are the Pandavas, in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Narada is like tracing the development of devotion, then he when he reaches Hanuman is perfectly fixed in Dasya Ras. Then Hanuman, he's celebrating the position of the Pandavas. Oh, I am nothing. They are real devotees. They because they have this friendly exchange. Where the Supreme Lord himself, he is reciprocating in this wonderful way, driving the chariot of his beloved friend Arjuna. I mean, just to hear that's enough. That's enough to capture your heart. If such a conception of divinity is possible, then sign me up. I'll subscribe to this. If it is really possible, such a thing, that the Supreme Absolute Lord will take the position, of a taxi driver, of a chauffeur, for his friends, then I want to be a part of that, That is really like the most wonderful point about Bhagavad Gita, actually, And when Mahaprabhu is traveling in South India, he comes across this some simple man who's reading Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavad Gita, but he's practically illiterate, so he cannot really read. Or maybe he can read a little bit, but he's pretty much illiterate. But still, in one temple every day, he's going through it. And Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you doing this? You can't read it properly. And he would read and cry, tears of ecstasy. And maybe that was Mahaprabhu's question. Like, what are you thinking of? Like, why are you crying these tears, and you can't even read it? And he said, yes, I'm not able to read this, but my Guru Maharaj, my Gurudev asked me to read this every day, and so I'm reading it every day. And as I'm reading it, as I'm going through it, I'm thinking, how kind is this Lord Krishna, that he's taking his beloved friend, and taking this humble position of a chariot driver. And I'm thinking of that, and I'm in ecstasy, and I'm crying these tears of emotion. Okay. Abhayam Rita, the Tritvanja. This is also a very wonderful expression of Param Guru Maharaj. And the Tritvanja is referring to like giving, and Abhayam Rita, the nectar of fearlessness. Interesting. Abhayam Rita, the nectar of fearlessness. So it will surrender, it will give, it will bestow this fearlessness upon you. So it will remove your... This is also in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song, Ashoka Abhay. And I think it's Nivedanam, Ashoka Abhay, Amrita Adar. Okay, so here, that's interesting. Abhay is referring to eternality, because in the scriptures, the cycle of birth and death, it's sometimes referred to as the great fear, Mahabhoy. This is mentioned in Param Guru Maharaj's comments in Bhagavad Gita. That this whole cycling, entanglement in this world, this is considered the most fearful thing. So then to become free from that is abhay, that is a position of fearlessness. So it seems like here, abhay, fearlessness, is equated with an eternal life. Mm-hmm. So eternal nectar is how it is rendered here. But I'm remembering Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song where he also describes this, that Atmanivedam tua pare kodi hoinu paramasuki dukkha dore gelo chintana rohilo chori ke ananda deki ashoka abhay amrita adar tomara charana dai. That now I have surrendered, I've come to your lotus feet, my Lord. I am joyful. Hoinu paramasuki. Dukkha dore, all sadness all suffering has gone far away. Dukkha dore gelo. Chintana rohilo. Anxiety is also gone, does not remain with me. And ashok, I'm free from all lamentation. I'm free from fear. And I'm receiving nectarian joy. So whatever is on the negative side, it has been removed, and everything on the positive side, that has been bestowed through Sharanagati, through Atmanivedam. It is an infallible position, actually, to be situated in the consciousness of Sharanagati, of surrender, perfect submissiveness to the Lord's will. It is an infallible position. It is a very curious thing, because it's like embracing the unknown will of the Lord. It actually gives you a position of great security. Good morning. It actually gives you a position of great security, because whatever gets thrown at you, or whatever the Lord throws your way, you are not disturbed. You are ready to face that. Because we're not, the surrendered soul is not dependent on some external factor within the environment, on some particular variable within the environment, right? That it's like this and so I'm okay. I have this and so I'm okay. But the position of the surrendered soul is, doesn't matter what the variables are, they're in this secure position because they're feeling the Lord's grace upon them, the Lord's affection upon them. So whatever the environmental variables are, doesn't matter. So they're in a position actually of great stability, great security. Even though that may apparently be chaotic, but they're connected with this deeper, absolute flow and line of grace. So it is a position of great infallibility. It is a position of great fearlessness. We can worship such a thing. So completely, these so nice, these expressions of Param Guru Maharaj, these Sanskrit illuminations. We just have limited appreciation because it's Sanskrit. But Abhayam Rita Ditritvan Cha, completely vanquishing all fear. Surrender bestows the life. Okay, so it does mention fearlessness here. Completely vanquishing. Okay, so maybe what it's saying is two separate things. Abhay and Amri. Well, we have to talk to a Sanskrit expert. But anyhow, it's right actually, however you put it, completely vanquishing all fear, surrender bestows the life of eternal nectar. And this is a verse, maybe from the Vamana Purana. Ye Shanka chakrabja karam hi saranginam kagendra ketum varadam shriyapatim samashayante bhavabhiti nashanam te shambhayam nasti vimukti bhajam. The Lord of the goddess of fortune bears a conch shell, disc, lotus flower, and bow. He is the master of Garuda. He is the vanquisher of the fear of mundane existence. He is the bestower of all benedictions. No trace of apprehension remains for those who take refuge in him, since they qualify for positive immortality. Sarvartha sadhakatvam. A surrendered soul is successful in all endeavors. And then another quotation from Brihanaradiya Purana. Samsadesmin mahagode moha nidra samakule ye harim sharanam yanti te kritartana samshaya. In the dense darkness of this material world, which is engulfed in ignorance and sleep, those who surrender unto the holy lotus feet of Lord Hari are successful in all their endeavors. Of this there is no doubt. Ajitendriyanam api shiva dattvam. By surrender, even persons of uncontrolled senses attain all good fortune. quotation from Bhagavatam. Kim dura padanam tesham pumsam udama chetasam yer ashitas tirtha padas chadano yasanatyaya. The lotus feet of Lord Hari vanquish material existence. By surrendering unto his lotus feet, nothing remains difficult to achieve, even for a person of agitated mind. Samsara klesh haritvam. All worldly suffering is vanquished for the surrendered soul. Sharira manasa divya. This is another Bhagavatam verse. Vayase ye chamanusha bhukti kascha katam klesha bhadiran harisamshayam. O Vidura, how can a person who has taken shelter of the lotus feet of Sri Hari be stricken with bodily and mental tribulation arising from the elements, other persons, or unfavorable astrological circumstances? And we can understand that it's not that these things won't appear necessarily in the lives of the surrendered souls, but they will not be affected, they will not be disturbed by these things. They're living on a higher plane of consciousness. So what's happening in this, lower sphere, even though apparently they're in the midst of it, it's not affecting them. We were discussing that the other day. So a very extreme example of that is King Chitraketu. That he was a great devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he one day he made some kind of joking comment observing Lord Shiva. He was sitting in an assembly of sages, and he was naked or practically naked, and he had his wife Parvati on his lap, and Chitraketu, he was going by in one of these celestial airplanes, and he made some comment oh, Shiva's shameless, sitting like this, in this assembly of great sages, and Lord Shiva, he knew Chitraketu, he was not trying to be insulting, and he knew also that he was a great devotee, and so Lord Shiva was not disturbed. But Parvati was upset, and she was offended, on behalf of Shiva. She took it as an insult to Shiva, and so she cursed him, and to take a hellish birth, which he did. He became Vitrasura in his next birth, and there's a whole history about that. But anyhow, what was extraordinary is that Chitraketu was not disturbed in the slightest when he received that curse. He accepted that quietly, and he left. And so Parvati was astonished, and she mentioned something, I just cursed him, and he wasn't ruffled in any way. I gave him a pretty heavy curse. And then there's a very nice verse of Lord Shiva. How does it go? Narayana, Parayana. I can't remember it right now. But it's saying, he's saying that for those who are surrendered to the Lord, heaven or hell, earth, doesn't make any difference to them. They are Narayana, Parayana. They are fully given to the Lord, to Narayan. And they're living on that platform. And what's happening in this other level doesn't, in this relative plane, they're not really disturbed by that. How does it go? Narayana, Parayana. But Param Gumarsh, in one place, he's discussing that, and he comments that the devotees, they wear a very special undergarment. He says it like that, of prema, and that protects them. They're not affected by all these things, you know, the duality of this plane.
Well, where can we buy those?
The only price is your lolium, your hankering, your desire to have it.
That's the cost.
That's the price. Krishna bhakti rasa bhavitamati kriyatam jadikuto pilabhyate tacha lolium abhimolyam ekalam janma gozi sukritana labhyate. If you see it anywhere, buy it. This verse, we really like this verse very much. If you find this anywhere, this kind of deep love, buy it immediately. But you can only buy it with your lolium, with your desire for that. And Janma Koti Sukritana love. You can, so many hundreds of thousands of lifetimes, you can follow some particular practices and you won't get it. It's your inner desire for that, you know. That is the only price. So, this point's also important if we look at if we look like at the Leela of the Lord, or we look at persons like our Gurudev, it may appear that they are in the midst of various worldly circumstances, but they're actually transcendental to that. So that famous verse in Gita, Krishna is like giving this, almost like some warning, some caution, how does it go? Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvata chaktvadeham punarjanma naiti mameti sarjana. That my janma and my karma, my birth and my activity are actually divyam. They're actually divine. They're actually transcendental. Although apparently they appear to be in this world, they're actually transcendental to that. If you can understand this, you'll be liberated from this world. On the objective plane, we may see one thing, but on the conscious plane, something else is going on. Okay. Sharanagatanam ayatnasidam eva padam padam. The supreme abode of Lord Vishnu is effortlessly attainable for the surrendered souls. Now this verse from Bhagavatam, very nice verse. Samashitaye parapalava plavam mahatpadam punyarasho murade vavam buddhirvatsa padam 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 yadi padam natesham. Read that again. Samashitaye parapalava plavam mahatpadam punya yasho murade vavam buddhirvatsa padam 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 yadi padam natesham. It's very nice. What do you call it? Is this called like alliteration, or I can't remember the name, but there's this sound play here which is very, very beautiful. This ocean of material existence is effortlessly attainable for the surrendered souls. Oh, I already read that. This ocean of material existence is as insignificant as the water in a cow's hoofprint to those persons who have taken full refuge in the supreme shelter, the boat of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories are universally sung as purity's own self. Their destination is the Lord's supreme abode, never this mundane abode of calamities. So, again, this doesn't go, it's not rendered the Sanskrit to English, you lose something here. But the way this world is described here as the place where there's danger at every step. Vipada. Vipada means like danger. So padam padam yad vipadamna. So the place where there's danger at every step. That's really the nature of this world, you know. We could, you know, step out the door right now and something can fall on our head. Anything, like literally every moment, anything can happen, and people can go to great lengths to protect themselves from this or that, and then something completely different will happen. You know, that's the way this literally is the world, where there's danger at every step. So this padam referring to the feet, right, at every step, and then vatsa padam means the hoof print of the baby cow. So this wonderful, you know, sound play is here. But this perspective, I mean, this is radical. If we want to talk about radical, this is radical. Can we conceive such a plane of consciousness where everything that's going on in this world, you know, is reduced to the water in the hoof print of a baby calf? Can we conceive? We cannot conceive. But for those who are living in, it's all about perspective, right? You know, for those who are living in consciousness of something so much higher, so much more meaningful, then all of this is just, it's reduced to that. My God.
This is our whole world.
And Param Guru Maharaj's his expression when he was asked about World War III. Now, that is a point on a line in a plane in a solid. That's like one tiny little point in eternity, you know. That's where they're living, you know. Like, it's not just a nice sound bite, but that's actually their perspective. And why? Because they're living within infinity. They're seeing, you know, really what is the position of this world and everything within it of supposed significance. Wow. So, you know, this is the challenge that we face, because we can't, like, give up the world, you know. I mean, at least not externally. No. We have to deal with the world. But while we're dealing with it and dealing with all of our issues in the relative plane, we have to also cultivate our appreciation for that higher plane and develop this higher perspective on the real, you know, position of things. So that is a challenge that we face. And so, you know, every day we got to dive in and get that reminder, you know. I'll just read that again. It's very beautiful. And this verse Srila Gurudev includes also in his introduction to Sharanagati. This ocean of material existence, you don't have a copy of that, do you?
Oh, which one?
The blue Sharanagati.
Oh, the book.
I'd like to see the translation there. Oh, this verse is very nice too. Okay, well, I'll go into the next verse while we're reading.
Sure.
Sarvatma Shritanam Vivartan Niriti. The illusion of bodily identification and mundane possessiveness is dispelled for the souls surrendered to the Lord in all respects. Ye Shamsa Eva Bhagavandaya Yed Ananta. This is so beautiful. This is also Bhagavatam. The sound is very beautiful, very poetic. Ye Shamsa Eva Bhagavandaya Yed Ananta Sarvatmana Shrutapado Yadi Nirvyalikam Te Dustaram Ati Taranti Chadeva Mayam Naisham Mamahamitidi Swa Shrigala Bakshe. Due to their taking shelter of his lotus feet in all respects, those persons upon whom the infinite Supreme Lord bestows his unreserved grace surpass the insurmountable illusory energy of the Lord. He does not favor those who ascribe the conceptions of I and mine to this material body, which is food for jackals and hounds. So this is the, okay, don't worry, thank you. So this is the wonderful thing about bhakti, that everything, you get the full package. It's not that you have to separately go somewhere else and do something else to try to become free from your, impurities. But you get the whole package, just by doing this one thing of trying to please the Lord and His devotees, then everything follows behind that. It's not that you have to come to the point of liberation by your own, attempts to renounce the world. But just by positively offering and trying to dedicate oneself, then everything else will follow behind that. So the Lord has that power. He can clean you up in the snap of a finger.
That's really...
It's not a problem for Him. It's not that you have to go through a whole, regime of becoming free from this sin and that sin, or you separately have to do that. But just come to me, I'll take care of everything else. Don't worry.
It's really important, Ada. That there's this simple way. You don't have to.
Yeah, this is the thing about bhakti. It's the most simple and also the most profound. This is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Raja Guhyam, I think it's the 10th chapter or the 12th chapter. But bhakti is described as the most hidden and the most profound and the most high. But it's also the most simple, the most accessible thing. And for that reason, there are many persons who dismiss it. That's for the babies, that's for the people who aren't ready, for the serious stuff, we've got all our austerities lined up, and we know this and we know that, and we can do this and we can do that, but you're not ready for that, you're in the baby section. You can do bhakti, that's for the ignorant, the weak persons, So there are persons within the various, Vedic schools, they see like that. They see that bhakti is for, but it is not like that, Just because it's the best doesn't mean it's the hardest. That the value of something is not necessarily to be determined by how difficult it is. Its value exists independent of that. So, it's very hopeful. Due to their taking shelter of His lotus feet in all respects, those persons upon whom the infinite Supreme Lord bestows His unreserved grace surpass the insurmountable illusory energy of the Lord. And ultimately, that's actually the only way, that is also explained in Bhagavatam. That other persons who go the other way, they can get some temporary position of detachment, of withdrawal from the lower plane. But it's maybe it will last, billions of years. But ultimately, if they can't catch hold of that higher current, that positive current, then they again will have to come down. Ultimately, for a real position within eternity, this is the only path. Daivi hieshu gunamayi mamamaya darachaya mam evaye prapadyam te mayametam tananti te. Krishna is telling in Gita that this insurmountable illusory energy of mine, mama maya, is my maya. She's my servant. If I, just give her some indication, then she'll let you go. So it's impossible to cross over her. But if you surrender to me, I'll have a word with her. We'll sort it out. Don't worry. Okay, next verse. Tadu pekshitanam dukkha pratikada kshanika eva. For persons devoid of a relationship with the Supreme Lord, Hari, prevention of suffering cannot but be transitory. So again, it is only whatever you can get without a connection with the Lord, it is just a temporary thing. And another verse from Bhagavatam. Balasya neha shananam pitaro nishingha nartasya chagadam udanvati majatono taptasya tat pratividirna pratividirya ihanja sheshtas tavadi botanubrutam tvadupekshitanam. O Nrsimha, O Almighty Lord, precautions and remedies. Or maybe this is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj, probably, to Lord Nrsimhadev. Precautions and remedies are only short-lived when attempted by the suffering, embodied souls who are not favored by you. Parents are not the guardians of their child. Medicine is not the cure for the diseased, and a boat is not the savior of a man drowning in the ocean. There's also another verse, famous verse along these lines, which we'll come to in the fourth chapter. That we'll come to that. But Gurudev, Srila Gurudev liked that verse. Gurur nasasyat swajano nasasyat pita nasasyat. Saying that guru is not a guru, that parent's not a parent, that husband or that wife or the demigods, they cannot be considered worthy of that designation if they cannot give you this highest thing. Who is the real friend? The real friend is one who can give you Krishna, who can give you eternality. Otherwise, whatever they can offer you is within the relativity of this temporary plane. So who is a real friend? Who is a real father? Who is a real mother? And so on and so forth. Who can give us that highest thing? Otherwise, it is not substantial. Parents are not the guardians of their child. Medicine is not the cure for the diseased, and a boat is not the savior of a man drowning in the ocean. Anashitanam asad avagrahad eva vividarti. The various tribulations of the surrendered souls are simply due to their obsession with the unreal. My God. The various tribulations of the unsurrendered souls are simply due to their obsession with the unreal. It's really like we're just mad. It really is, Like we're living in this whole concocted world of ego that we have. And that's what creates disturbances, because we're identifying with that. But if we remove that, it doesn't matter. It's not important anymore. It's an extraordinary thing. Because we're identifying with this body, with this mind, with this ego, this whole sense of self, then we experience trouble. But it is all our own creation. It's the creation of our own mind, And verse from Bhagavatam. Tavad bhayam javina deha suhinimitam shokas priha paribhavo vipulascha lobha tavanma metya sadavagraha arti mulam yavanna tengrin abhayam pravinita loka. O Lord, as long as the people of the world do not take the safe and sound shelter of your lotus feet, they remain full of anxiety about their wealth, their bodies, and their friends. Overwhelmed with lamentation, hankering, obsession, and intense greed, they cannot obtain relief from the suffering which is deeply rooted and their imaginary conceptions of I and mine. Padipurna kamo harir eva shayanyo nyadheyam. One should take refuge in the fully self-satisfied Supreme Lord Hari. The shelter of other gods yields a lamentably inferior result. Also Bhagavatam. Avismitam tam paripurna kamam svinaiva labena samam prashantam vinopasarpatyapanam hibalisha swalangulena titarti sindhum. Lord Krishna is perfectly replete in everything desirable, fully self-sufficient, poised and tranquil. Nothing can be astonishing for him. Only a fool disregards him to take shelter in any demigod whose propitiation may be prescribed for the accomplishment of worldly benefits. Such a person may be compared to one who seizes a dog's tail in order to cross the ocean. Lord Krishna is perfectly replete in everything desirable, fully self-sufficient, poised and tranquil. Nothing can be astonishing for him. Only a fool disregards him to take shelter in any demigod whose propitiation may be prescribed for the accomplishment of worldly benefits. Such a person may be compared to one who seizes a dog's tail in order to cross the ocean. Harir eva sarvo daritvam. Only Sri Hari is capable of delivering the living being in all circumstances. Kirata hunandra pulinda pukasha abira shuma yavana kashadaya yen ye cha papa yadupa shaya shaya shudyanti tasmai prabha vishnave namaha. Persons such as those belonging to the races known as Kirit, so we don't really know these, but persons of lower, considered lower races traditionally. Kirita, Huna, Andra, Pulinda, Pukasha, Abira, Shuma, Kanka, Javana, and Kasha. Nay, persons of each and every sinful birth are perfectly purified without a doubt by taking shelter of the devotees, surrendered to Lord Vishnu, the Almighty. So, interesting here. Interesting. It seems to me, according to, my very, very limited knowledge of Sanskrit, Upashaya, by taking shelter of those who have taken shelter. It seems like that's what it's saying. And in the translation it says, taking shelter of the devotees surrendered to the Lord. So, yeah, it is saying that. Taking shelter of those who have taken shelter. It's wonderful. That's our religion. Another definition. Taking shelter of those who have taken shelter of the Lord. That's really what we're doing. I do offer my respectful obeisances unto him. That's so beautiful. Hari charanashita eva sadagrahino nyata karma yogadibir atma gatitvam. Only surrendered souls can properly distinguish substance from form. Those who disregard Lord Hari to seek happiness on the empirical paths based on yoga and karma are simply on a suicidal course. Only surrendered souls can properly distinguish substance from form, because Maya is like a cover. It covers your eyes. And that veil is only removed once you surrender to the Lord. So what's that line of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur? He's expressing that, he's aspiring for the pure Kabe Gauravane Sura Dunitate. He's aspiring for this pure vision of the Dham. He's speaking about the holy Dham. And he expresses there, like something like the net of Maya, like that's shielding, that's covering. So actually, unless one is surrendered, our estimation of things is not clear. That's why we have to rely on the direction given by the scripture and by the sadhus, because on our own, our judgment is not reliable. We don't have reliable judgment. Like if someone's intoxicated or something, then you can't really judge their ability, their powers of discernment, in that time. So you have to wait for them to become sober. Or someone who has some mental condition, you understand they have some, something that makes them unable to have clear perception of things, sober judgment. So until one is surrendered, then the best thing for us is to follow. Okay, my mind is telling me it's like this, but scripture and guru are telling me it's like this. So I'm going to go with their version of things because they have some clear and sober vision of what's really going on. My mind, my senses, they're all telling me this. And that's because of the influence of Maya. So therefore I have to ignore that whole thing going on there and follow what they're telling me, because they have clear perception, the real situation here. So only surrendered. So until we get to that point, we should not be overconfident of our judgments of any given situation. We have to seek higher perspective. So the verse is Atata Nanda Dugam Padambujam Hamsa Shayaran Arvinda Lochana Sukham Nu Vishveshwar Yoga Karma Bis Tan Maya Yami Vihata Na Manina. O lotus-eyed one, the swans, topmost pure devotees, Paramahamsas, take refuge in your ecstasy-yielding lotus feet. O universal Lord, those who do not accept the joy of the shelter of your lotus feet and pursue the paths of abstract liberation and mundane acquisition, such persons are devastated by your deluding potency. What time is it now? I've lost all sense of time here. It's just after 10. I'm not sure what time we started. Maybe we should stop. I'll just read one more verse. This is very nice. Shri Krishna Chadana Sharanagate Parama Sadyatvam. Full refuge in the lotus feet of Shri Krishna is the supreme objective. Nanaka Prishtam Nacha Sarva Bhomam Na Parameshtvam Na Rasadi Patyam. So this na is like, it's just like a list of so many like so-called desirable attainments within this world. So like one who's surrendered, all of these things are now undesirable. Like no. Nanaka prishtam nacha sarvabhomam na padamishtam na rasadi patyam na yoga siddhir apunarbhavamba vanchanti atpada raja prapana. In this verse, it actually appears twice in Bhagavatam. The last line is different. One is spoken by the Naga Patnis, the wives of what is his name? The snake demon, the serpent demon. I forgot his name right now. I'm so bad with Krishna Leela.
Shaisha and his
the demon snake.
Arya is like what really made the main one.
No, not Ananta Shesh.
Ah,
He's an expansion of the Lord. No, this is a demon. And it's terrible, I can't remember his name. But he's poisoning the river Jamuna. And Krishna comes and dances on his heads and subdues him. Kaliya, yes, yeah. Thank you. The Kaliya serpent, yes. But his wives, interestingly, his wives are devotees, actually. And they make these beautiful prayers to Krishna. So they say it, and then there's another place where it's spoken. I can't remember who. But anyhow, this is the... And I've heard Srila Sridhar Maharaj like this verse. I heard him discussing it in one place. Those souls who have taken refuge in the dust of your lotus feet have no desire to attain heaven, universal dominion, the post of Lord Brahma, sovereignty over the earth, yogic perfections or liberation. So what is that thing? It's so valuable that all of these other things are so, distasteful, all of a sudden. They're getting such a higher taste. So the attainment of heaven, universal dominion. My God. This, what's his name? Elon Musk. He wants to be the king of Mars. You've heard of him, right?
Yeah.
Planning, to transmite, to, what do you call it? To, when you move to another... Migrate to Mars and become the ruler there, No, Earth, he's already got a pretty powerful position on planet Earth, but it's not enough, Moving on to other planets and galaxies. So even universal dominion, the whole of the universe, to have a position of mastership, that's undesirable. The post of Lord Brahma, who's the supreme being in this world, in this whole material, plane, Brahmanda. Sovereignty over the earth, yogic perfections, or liberation. Wow. And this is very nice. I published it on the Jayashri website, this talk of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And he mentions also he mentions a lover like Romeo or Juliet. One will be ready to give up all whatever charm this world has to offer. Whatever charm this world has, one will neglect that, for some higher, some sweet, unknown. Jai Sri Sri Prapanna-jivanamrtam. Jai Krishna Bhakti Raksha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Jai Krishna Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. Jai Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.